There's something about military barracks. The endless echo of boots on linoleum, the sharp tang of boot polish and industrial soap that makes you feel both invincible and invisible at the same time. In 1981, at CFB Trenton, Ontario, I was just another 19-year-old private, itching to see the world before my time in uniform was up. The barracks were my wilderness, a place where you learn to trust your gut and keep your secrets close. But even the most disciplined soldier has blind spots. According to declassified CIA research, psychic predictions, so often dismissed, showed up to 25% accuracy in controlled studies. In 1981, nobody in the military talked about that stuff. Still, that night, Perry, a quiet guy from my floor, offered me a trance reading. "I'm never wrong, dude," he said. My gear was standard: a battered duffel, Canadian passport, $800 in traveler's checks, and a Eurail pass. My plan? 4 weeks in the UK and France, every detail logged for my sergeant. But as Perry's words echoed in my mind, I had no idea how little my preparation would matter. Picture CFB Trenton in late June. The whine of transport planes overhead, the sun baking the parade square, and the barracks alive with anticipation. The night before my leave, Perry sat on my bunk, eyes closed, his voice eerily calm as he described my upcoming trip. Places I'd never mentioned. Then came the warning. "You'll meet a dark-haired woman in Switzerland. She'll want you to stay. If you do, you'll die." Switzerland in 1981 was one of the safest places in Europe. Just 0.8 homicides per 100,000 people. The Alps were the last place you'd expect trouble. But the specificity of Perry's warning should have been my first clue. The first days of my trip were pure freedom. Wandering German towns, hiking Bavarian trails, the air crisp with mountain pine. Nights brought the hush of distant trains and the occasional howl of wind through the valleys. I thought I was in control, but looking back, that feeling of being watched, of fate closing in, should have been my first warning. In 30 seconds, I'll tell you why ignoring a specific gut feeling is the biggest mistake you can make. Day 1 over the Atlantic. The pilot's announcement shattered my plans. Due to air traffic issues in London, we're diverting to Frankfurt, West Germany. My rational mind chalked it up to bad luck, but Perry's words gnawed at me. Switzerland. A dark-haired woman. Death. Instead of fighting for a London connection, I let the current pull me. 3 weeks later, after castles and steins, I found myself in Innsbruck, Austria. The Alps loomed, beautiful and indifferent. That's when I bought a ticket to Geneva, thinking maybe I'd swing through Paris after. Like survival expert Tom Brown Jr. says, the he wilderness doesn't care about your plans. It only responds to your awareness. Every lesson about trusting my instincts started replaying in my head. If you've ever felt that chill when coincidence feels like destiny, you'll know what happened next. The train to Geneva cut through the Alps, the sun glinting off snowfields. I was stretching my legs in the aisle, watching peaks slip by, when she appeared. Dark hair, glasses, plain as a cartoon extra, except for the way she locked eyes with me. Even then, something seemed off. Looking back now, I swear the dark hair was a wig, the glasses a disguise. Good for me. If she'd been striking or glamorous, my guard might have dropped. At 19, that could have been enough to seal my fate. She started with casual questions. Where was I from? What brought me to Europe? But her curiosity was surgical, zeroing in on my travel plans, my companions, my next destination. Then she asked, Would you like to spend some time with me in Zurich? Perry's warning slammed into me. I was 19, alone, and suddenly every muscle in my body screamed, danger. Here's the tactic that made the difference. I kept my options open. I agreed to get off in Zurich, but I never let her out of my sight. Never let myself be boxed in. When someone tries to control your movement or isolate you, that's a predator's play. In 60 seconds, I'll reveal the moment everything flipped. We left the train together. She told me to wait on the platform while she walked up the tracks. "My brother will be here soon," she said. But her friendliness had vanished, replaced by something cold and urgent. Minutes dragged. She paced, glancing back, growing more agitated. Other passengers boarded. The conductor's whistle echoed. No brother appeared. And then came the moment I'll never forget. Looking at the train that was leaving for Geneva, it felt like it was waiting for me, almost whispering, "Hey, you sure you're not coming with us?" It was surreal, but real if you catch my drift. A gut-level invitation to escape. That's when my training kicked in. Assess, adapt, act. I called out, "Maybe next time," and started back toward the train. She snapped, angry, insistent, demanding I stay. But I moved, heart pounding, every instinct screaming to get out. Here's the trick. Never let someone else dictate your escape route. I boarded the train, found a spot in the aisle, and watched as she and a man, her brother, walked the platform, arguing in German, peering into windows. I was invisible, but not safe until those doors closed. The final standoff. The train's diesel stung my nose, mountain air rushing through the open window, my hands trembling on the seat. She and her brother searched, their voices sharp, faces twisted with frustration. The train lurched forward, and I nearly collapsed with relief. 3 lessons I'll never forget. Trust your instincts, even when they sound irrational. Specific warnings deserve specific attention. The most dangerous predators don't look like monsters. They look like anyone. I drowned my nerves in 10 beers in Geneva. Stayed a few days, then returned to base. Alive, but forever changed. My friends called me paranoid. I called it survival instinct. Next time, I joked, I'd bring a psychic of my own. Here's the part I've rarely told. 17 years later, in 1998, I walked into a thrift store in Toronto near my apartment. On the floor sat a backpack, the same backpack I'd carried on that trip. Same Canadian flag I'd sewn on, pulled slightly to one side, exactly as I remembered. It felt like an old friend saying, "Remember me?" I should have bought it, but it was all too much of a reminder. Strange world. Remember, Switzerland in 1981 was statistically one of the world's safest places. But sometimes the scariest thing isn't the wilderness. It's what's hiding in plain sight. Subscribe if you want the real stories, because sometimes the truth is stranger and scarier than anything your nightmares could conjure.